dignified life and a place where art and culture survive, where you can actually survive climate change as well, and not just us, but our flora and fauna as well, and our neighbors too. Ways that we can make history come alive and live in our classrooms and in our schools. Ways that we can reach people who are living in the shadows and people who may not feel counted or respected. Ways we can lift people up who are marginalized. Ways we can reclaim the health of our communities and not give in to the forces of this pandemic or all the other sort of divisive elements in our society right now. It's not an easy moment. You've seen announcements even today, I'm sure, that the Delta is strong as ever. Things are, we're not out of the woods. The celebration only goes to so far, and the sort of the crescendo of this reopening, I think, is kind of fallen on some deaf ears, because I know a lot of you guys have been dealing with a lot of pain and a lot of trauma. So we want to take a moment to acknowledge some of that too, but hopefully today just talk about stories of hope and talk about some of the work you do. So I don't want to over talk it. I'm hoping that we can run this next hour or so as a series of little mini interviews, and you can learn about each other through our finalists, and hopefully with our whatever we're calling it, maybe the after party, we can start to talk and get to know each other a little more and figure out how to help. But our office has a really unique mission to serve you, and sometimes I feel like we don't do a good enough job at it because the problems are too vast. But I can promise you that the folks who are working in this district are putting everything they got on the line and dealing with all the toughest cases. And I'm really grateful to Jeremy and Susie and Kathy and Megan and everyone who made this work, Lauren and the rest of the team, Denise and Steve, our caseworker, and some of our Capitol staff here too. So thanks to all you guys. And without further ado, let's take a look at our first category. So we put education together with arts and culture as sort of an umbrella under which a very diverse range of organizations are operating, but similar missions in trying to reignite a spark in young people mid-career or older in their years, and do that through teaching and through that sort of hands-on work. The David Lepkowski Project is our first finalist that I wanted to take a moment to recognize, and I've seen what they call the DLP for short, take the art of David Lepkowski, who went through the Holocaust and saw Europe descend into a place of darkness. And through their groundbreaking work of bringing that art to life and helping young people reanimate history and see it and hold it and even go into it using three-dimensional, new technology for kids to actually experience life in the villages that were emptied out, and many people who lost, including my own family. And I have to thank not just Leora, who's I think here with us today, but my sister-in-law Malky, who's on the board. And I'm not biased. This is not a family connect. This is really just a remarkable, small, maybe unknown organization to some of you, but they're doing Holocaust education and teaching about anti-Semitism at a time when people are on their heels on this issue, and young people are being marginalized even in Los Angeles in our public schools. And I'm very excited about their work. We're carrying legislation, the Never Again Education Act, and have some funding moving from Sacramento to try to help with these efforts. But DLP, you want to kick us off by just talking about maybe one spark you ignited throughout this pandemic? It's a very hard time to do your work, but a story, somebody you touched. Laura, I really am grateful for your work, and congratulations on becoming a finalist, by the way. We've got your certificate here. I don't know if Susie has it printed out for you, but we framed it up and it'll be shipped on its way. But as we virtually hand you our first finalist award for arts, education, and culture, Leora, tell us a little bit about that one spark.
Thank you so much. And it's such an honor to be here. One person, one school, one community. That's how the David Lapkovsky Project teaches about the dangers of anti-Semitism and discrimination through the art of David Lapkovsky. When a high school student recently completed one of our programs, this is what she said. I did not know much of this history, but after completing the David Lapkovsky Project student docent training program and being able to critically look at Lapkovsky's paintings about life before, during, and after the Holocaust, this program gave me the skills to educate my peers about the Holocaust. In order to create a brighter future for all of us, we have to understand our history. It doesn't matter who you are or what your background is, everyone can learn from David Lapkovsky's story. Our programs at the David Lapkovsky Project provide a safe space for students to express themselves while learning about history through art and becoming engaged, enriched, and educated, but most importantly, empowered to make the world a better place, free of bigotry and discrimination. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that, Leora, and for bringing this history to life. We would be a much darker place without you. So sincere gratitude, and hopefully we get our bill passed and unleash this upon all the state of California. I think every young person should have an opportunity. Speaking of young people having opportunities, out in the Conejo Valley, you all may not have been to Art Trek before, but Jerry Wendell and their team over there are similarly using art as a tool to reawaken students and from all walks of life in the Conejo Valley. I think, we started out with our brainstorm after a series of episodes of gun violence culminating in the Borderline shooting, and as a place to actually sit down with young people and brainstorm and try to find ways to heal and find creativity. It was literally in the studios of Art Trek where SoCal Never Again was born, where a bunch of high school students threw a bunch of whiteboards and butcher paper, sketching things out and playing in that space, a space to play and let your mind go. They came up with a student movement that to me transformed not just the Conejo Valley and the politics maybe of that region and how we're going to respond to that shooting, but the entire Southern California region and giving young people a venue. So one small example, but Jerry, congratulations on being a finalist in this category. And if you have, that's my version of a story in your backyard there at Art Trek, but maybe you've got another one up your sleeve. I have a feeling you got a few.
Hello. So this is Nan and Jerry.
Oh, Nan. Oh, nice to see you. I didn't know it was going to be you. Wonderful.
So we're really proud of the work we've done in the Conejo Valley and we've worked with many of you, I'm sure, in so many different projects. That we serve preschool through seniors. So we serve the entire community and pretty much anybody we can reach out to. And until COVID, I would say we worked most strictly in the arts, but over the last year, we've also served meals, created sandwiches, lunches, protective equipment. We've packaged 170,000 little art bags for our community in Los Angeles. So we've had a lot of transition. But in terms of, I think, affecting an individual, we reach out to the community in every which way, and groups of people in college, high school, elementary school, senior homes, Casa Pacifica, and special organizations. We have one young man who works here. He's just finished about 100 hours. His name's Carson, and he came from the regional center through PathPoint. And he came in because he wanted to become a member of a community. He's artistic, and he wanted to prepare for a job. So he joined our group. He has made little art bags. He has made lunches for Safe Passage, with whom we partner. He has worked as an employee for us in concert with the regional center. And with this, he's become a member of our community. He's connected to teachers and students. He's on the autism spectrum in such a way that his community connections have been challenging. But after 100 hours, he feels like he can go forward and get a job in a community center, work with people of all ages. And I think he really recognizes some skills he has, and he loves this creative environment, which is our community studio here at Art Trek. So everybody is affected in some way from community, as are we, from doing creative projects, from knowing that you're going out in the world and you're making a difference. And he's one example of somebody who will remain close with us. We'll watch him and work with him over the years. And he's one of many people we're very proud of.
It's a beautiful story, Nan, and I know there are so many other Carsons out there. I want to see what kind of sandwich artist also. Forget artist or sandwich art. I'm very curious. I bet you guys made the most beautiful sandwiches, by the way, in the entire region. So I want to. You'll have to share that. But thanks for being that safe place for people to just let their mind go. And anyone who wants to go out and say, I don't know how to paint or what I'm doing, go out to Art Trek and try it out. Open yourself up to it. It's a very special place. And maybe you'll see Carson and Nan over there too. So thanks for joining us, and congrats again on being a finalist here.
Thank you, Henry.
Of course. I don't know if Tommy Gelinas is with us from Valley Relics Museum, but wanted to give them a shout out as the sometimes off the beaten path, but gem of museums in the San Fernando Valley for preserving our history. Everything from classic cars and rare documents. The sign to my favorite diner in the entire San Fernando Valley was Rena Drexler's Jewish Deli. And Rena's a survivor. She passed away years ago and was a mentor to me, but going into Tommy's museum and seeing Drexler's Deli there, it's like, oh my God, this place is still alive. And there's so many other examples of that where Tommy and his team have sort of held on to our history and reminded us that the Valley is a place that's born entire movements of culture, aerospace to BMX biking to Tom Petty and everything in between. So I don't know if Tommy's with us today, but you make the Valley cool, man. And that retro arcade, if you guys haven't been out there, go out to the Van Nuys Airport and check it out. You may rediscover your Pac-Man proficiencies in the process of learning something as well. So yeah, we're honored to have you as a finalist, and thanks for doing what you do. If you're here, take the mic for a sec. If not, we'll come see you. I'm gonna take that as a nod. It's okay. So let's move on to Rancho San Antonio Boys Home, one of our other finalists in the arts, education, and culture category. Special thanks to Kathy Lettieri for bringing Rancho San Antonio to the fore for what they do. They do trauma-informed caring for young people in a therapeutic environment to share the success and skills that are needed for young men who have lost their way and face traumas of their own. There are so many lives they save, and the mental health needs and the sort of trauma intervention that they do, whether it's in gang intervention or personal trauma being dealt with, backbone of our family out in the San Fernando Valley. And I'm so grateful. I think Judy Brevera is with us here, but if you guys don't know about Rancho San Antonio, I highly commend you to their work. The state of California is looking at their model to do the kind of restorative care that we need to bring young people back and not just say you screw up once when you're young and your life's over. Those second chances abound at Rancho San Antonio. So I don't know, Judy, if you're on, but I'm bless you for this work.
I'm here.
Please humbly accept our appreciation for your service.
Thank you so very much, Senator. We very much appreciate the honor. Rancho has been around since 1933. So if you don't know of them, where have you been? We've been in Chatsworth since 1938. And like you said, we help youth who have lost their way. And I've been at Rancho personally since 1993. And my supervisor who's here, she has my name on her Zoom, but her name's Sharon Covington. And she would like to say a few words also. She's been at Rancho 40 years.
Wow. Actually 44, Judy.
Oh, 44.
Wow.
Wow.
I just want to thank you. And the creative arts was the focus of the person who nominated us. And what's exciting about Rancho is we have a lot of classic therapies, specialty mental health, but we also have non-traditional therapies. And our newest one is our music studio. And there was a song that we sent that maybe can be shared at some point during this.
Cue it up. Let's do it.
I see a thumbs up. We're so excited. And the kids through music are engaging in therapy and they don't even know it and they love it. It's popular. We're talking to DCFS and DMH about some day treatment work so that we can do more prevention in the community. And this is one of the programs that we want to use for that. So thank you so much for your support, everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you for 44 years. Let's do 44 more. Does anyone want to do it?
I'm all about that. They won't let me go.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign as a boss. They don't let you leave. Does anyone want to cue the music? You guys want to give us a little sample of Rancho's?
I sent it to Susie. I don't know if she's able to share it.
Play around with it for a sec, Susie. If it works, throw it on. If not, no big deal.
All right, let me see if I can.
It's actually
Pull
one
it
of
up.
our
It's-
success stories who came to Rancho thinking that he could fake it and then realized there was a lot of help and needed more time. And that's the title of the song, More Time.
Yeah, and you'll hear in this song kind of a cacophony of voices. And this youth returned to say thank you to our staff, and they were all excited in his return. So the song has that. And when you hear that, that's what it's about. It's about voices of support, greeting someone that's coming back into the fold with success
Yes.
story.
When that's what you do, it's not about therapy and isolation, right? It's about reintegration. It's about community-based care and bringing families in too. And that's
Yeah.
such a special part of it is that the breaks that you see in families that sort of precipitate some of this work or some of this trauma to try to stitch those networks back together. That's very sacred and intimate work. So you need art to get there. It's too hard to just talk through sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes
Exactly.
you just need to leave yourself and
Exactly.
let it go, and somehow it comes back. Well,
I feel like that you've been a staff member here.
I know, right?
I came up doing juvenile justice work. That's how I
Okay.
started in my life. My grandfather was a social worker, and I've been dealing with young people
Oh.
for many years, and it's really hard work. It's really hard work, and you can't just do it in mass. This is not volume-based care. This is
No.
not just crank it out and check the box. So you have to care, and that's a really hard thing to put a value on, is leadership, that you actually, you care about each person. Megan, I see you're sharing computer sound. You want to see more time?
Now I'm coming out. I'm proud to say I'm a young man now. I'm
This
ready
is-
to start
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
like a grown man. Start taking care of business, real business.
Oh my God, it's like you have it come down. I know, I was like having a birthday and I'm like, oh, my name's right now.
They were happy to see him.
Let me tell you how I live. This stuff get crazy, and I don't know what it is. Getting shot at every day, man, I swear this isn't it. Gotta see my mama down, getting help from a kid. And I don't know how to act, so I gotta change my ways. And I can't even walk around, cause they might take my life away. Getting labeled as a thug, so I gotta get away. And I'm using what they taught, so I could live another day. Read books, talk about it, what they taught me. I gotta make sure I stay strong until I'm free. I thank the judge for the time that she gave me, even though I was in jail when I turned 16. Remember nights I was her wanted to AWOL, even though the gates was open, yeah, I stayed tall. I listen to this.
So I want it. No, I'm hooked.
It's great.
I'm hooked. No labels, right? Just a little more time. Thank you
Little
for that,
more
Megan. Thanks
time.
for being quick on the spot. We love you guys, Rancho. Keep it
Thank
up. We'll
you.
come see you in Chatsworth real soon. God bless you.
Thank you.
This is a very mighty group. We got so many all-stars. And speaking of mighty, the mighty underdogs. If you guys ever make it out to Malibu, you think Malibu may be, very different place. You think it's all celebrities and Instagram and millionaires. But what the mighty underdogs have shown is that it's a place of deep humility and of incredible work. And you'd never think some surfer bros could be at the heart of this, but that's precisely what they've done. JP and Tim are out there. You'll see them out there tandem surfing with young people who are dealing with cognitive, physical, emotional issues, autism, trauma in their lives, run-ins with law enforcement. It runs the spectrum, but the ocean is a very equalizing place. And, everyone's kind of the same in the water, except for JP and Tim. I don't know if they're the same because they're just so good at surfing. And you feel trusted in their care. And these young people put themselves in these guys' hands and their team, their army of surfers to do surf therapy. And it's truly changing lives. I think it's not just a beautiful image and something symbolic. I think it's actually, they're unlocking a very special tool, and what water actually does in terms of social and emotional health too. I think there's something big to learn here. So Tim or JP, I don't know if you're around, but we love you guys, and honored to have you amongst this illustrious cadre of folks. So take the mic if you want. And if anyone ever wants to get out there and volunteer or help out, you don't have to be a surfer. You can make breakfast or camp out on the beach and work the tent, but they're out at Surf Rider every couple months and doing their thing. Tim, JP, I think I saw JP fall off for a sec. But if they are off, we'll keep
Henry,
it moving.
this is Katie Pruitt.
What's up, Katie?
Hi. I just have to say what an honor. I'm speaking on behalf of Tim and JP. They were disconnected. They're trying to reconnect. So
Are they on the beach? Are they in the water? Are they trying to Zoom from Surfrider?
They are at Zuma. They had surf camp today, as they have every day since summer kicked off. They're not only running Mighty Underdog camps, but they are also helping Children's Life Saving, helping that organization as well. They serve inner city kids who don't have access to surf therapy or, much less the ocean even. Oftentimes these kids aren't able to make it out to the coast. So they have been extremely busy running these camps, but they are taking this time to join you for this award ceremony, and just so honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
Honor's all ours, Katie, and we love you and Mighty Underdogs. I mean, the fact that they even attempted to Zoom from the beach, that's quite a feat. But go do what they're good at, which is helping young people realize that they're strong and that they're mighty and that they're in the mightiest place of all, that ocean. But if they can handle that, they can handle anything. So we love you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. And back at you. We are looking forward to hosting our annual.
Yeah, we need to do our next
Senator
surf
Henry
summit. I know. Once COVID gets a little better, this will be, I think, our fourth annual surf summit. So those of you who haven't been out there, we bring hundreds of kids out from all over Los Angeles who maybe have never even touched the ocean before. And Katie and JP and Tim and their whole team, show them that it's theirs too. It's all of ours.
Absolutely. Thanks to you, and thanks to Jeremy
Okay.
for making those events possible. And yeah, we're
Right
we're
on. Right on. Have fun out there.
Thank you.
Full South swell. So last but not least, amongst our finalists who are featured here today, we have Temple Judea, and I believe Rabbi Raff is with us. But you know, there's so many faith institutions that have stepped up during this pandemic to be really a backbone for people. Temple Judea has been doing it for over 60 years, and this time tested their congregation and the community in a really big way. Everything from the early child care center to the work with seniors in Temple Judea Village. You know, I've been out there with our regional centers too, and the support networks they provide for people with intellectual disabilities or developmental disabilities of all kinds. Rabbi Raff, your team has been truly remarkable, and I thought you might be able to lend us some wisdom from your tussles with hardship and maybe give us a little spark of hope too from the work you've been doing.
Thank you, Senator. It's really a privilege to be spotlighted here with all these other amazing organizations. We have been serving our own community, but especially during the pandemic, we felt it was necessary to go outside of our own community, outside of just our congregation, and to help the larger Valley community. So what we've done is two things that you can see in these pictures. One is that we've worked with the Hope of the Valley mission in the North Valley, and we've brought them over 8,000 lunches in the last, since the pandemic. We have volunteers who make lunches every other Monday, and we've literally served and provided over 8,000, almost 9,000 lunches to them, just saying, we care, we're here, you matter, you are part of our community, and all of your people matter. The other program I want to spotlight, if I may, is a program that we are doing called our citizenship program. There are nearly 500,000 residents with green cards who are eligible for citizenship in the Los Angeles area, and a large number of them are in the Valley. And there's a paucity of programs to serve that demographic and help them become US citizens. So we created a program. It has 3 really substantial steps. The first step is to determine eligibility for citizenship. The second part is to provide at no cost legal assistance for the application process. And the third part is to create free classes geared towards citizenship test passage, coupled with mentorship. It's all free, and it's something that we've done now for a couple of years. In that time, we've helped over 400 people in the San Fernando Valley submit their citizenship application.
Wow.
And every one of our students has passed their citizenship test.
You got 100% success rate?
100%.
Wow.
So we have created 400 new Americans. And that's a pretty amazing number and a pretty amazing task. We do it all with volunteers who come and teach about US government, about history, about what it means to be a citizen. And then we hope that they will go off and vote. And that's a third area that we are proud of, is our voter registration program. We sent postcards during the election period to over 20,000 Americans, encouraging them to go vote. So while we are concerned about our own community and our own Jewish community and our own synagogue community, we can't forget that we're part of a larger community, of the community of the Valley, the community of the United States, and to make sure that we do our part to help Americans become a better place, to help our society and to help our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Raff. And, 8,000 lunches and 400 new Americans. I mean, those numbers are huge, but we know it's one by one by one. And that's what it takes. So for all those tiny mitzvahs that add up to a mountain, we are grateful. And you're truly healing our valley and our country. Before moving on beyond our education, arts and culture category, we did want to mention some additional finalists. I'm not sure if any of them are joining us, but we did want to give a shout out to Magnolia Science Academy and Skirball Cultural Center, as well as the Guadalupe Community Center in Canoga Park. These institutions have been incredibly important through the pandemic, whether it's bringing stories of triumph and art to life at Skirball, or being a place that's safe and inviting to families, and finding resources at Guadalupe, or just unlocking the minds of very special young people at Magnolia. We're grateful to you. Want to move on now to our next category, climate, the environment, and wildlife protection, and start off with a very special place, the Little Angels Project. They provide free and low-cost veterinary care to everyone from seniors to lower-income residents and veterans, people who love their animals, but may not be able to take care of them. And especially with the disasters we've seen, not just this pandemic, but wildfires and slides and extreme heat events, we need these little angels now more than ever. So Yvette, I don't know if you're here to talk a little bit about some of the work, but I know you've had a huge impact on reducing euthanasia rates and probably saved a lot of lives with the companionship you've been able to unleash and impact. So Yvette, congratulations on joining us today and as one of our finalists. And if you're able, say a quick hello.
Well, I'd love to, and thank you, Senator, for recognizing us. And it really, truly is an honor when I look at all my friends amongst the community who are represented on this Zoom meeting. Our goal has been to help people retain their animals. The biggest cause of animal surrender to our shelters is for medical need. 20% of the animals that are euthanized in our shelters, and this is millions of animals, are because of medical need. When we first responded, whether it was the Thomas Fire or the Woolsey Fire or went up to Ridgecrest earthquake, we committed to provide free services so that no one would have to surrender a beloved family member for financial need. So whether it is surgery, whether it's bringing them current on vaccinations, or just a general medical checkup, we have been providing a mobile clinic several times a month, and we go out to the community to assist seniors, veterans, those of low income. And coming up soon, we are going to be visiting the tiny house projects, where we will be helping those people trying to get back on their feet have their animals treated as well, because we know that sometimes that animal is the only reason that they continue to function in society.
Yes. And I see, and there's even goats too.
There are goats. You know, I don't put up video because you never know who's going to cross my path. I am that Zoom member that, you'll see the goat in the background or the pig in the background. And so
we don't mind. Goats are welcome. And thanks for taking care of these animals. And through these animals, a lot of people who depend on them. You're a source of great inspiration. And I wish we didn't have to rely on you so much with all these disasters, but I really appreciate it a bit.
Thank you. Appreciate your support.
Right on. Well, look up Little Angels, folks. They're coming soon to a community near you. I want to next turn to California Wildlife Center, which has been Jennifer and her team there have been doing really cutting edge work in conservation and rehabilitation for our native wildlife. Whether it's the mass seal die-offs or impacts on our raptors locally from poisonings, there's all kinds of encroachment and destructions occurring. So Jennifer, you want to tell us a little bit about California Wildlife Center and some of the sparks you've managed to yield there through your efforts?
Absolutely. First, I'd like to thank you for the nomination. It's a huge honor. We've been in the community since 1998, and each year we increase the number of animals that we help. So last year we helped around 4,000 animals. This year we're trending closer to 4,500 animals. We receive over 30,000 calls from members of the community each year, resulting in hundreds of thousands of text messages. They range from anything from raccoons on the roof to a songbird that's fallen from a nest to, unfortunately, yes, animals suffering from rodenticide poisoning or coyotes that are somewhere where they shouldn't be. And we do our best to educate the public as well as to care for the animals. We care for everything from baby hummingbirds that come to us weighing less than half a penny to starving elephant seals who, believe it or not, are starving babies at 70 pounds. Our volunteers donate over 40,000 hours each year to support the activities that we do. All of our services are free, so we're able to provide services to the entire Southern California area. We're the only ones licensed to rehabilitate songbirds, coyotes, deer, some of the species that make our area so special and unique. We also work with the Oiled Wildlife Care Network for oil spills, and of course have helped during the Woolsey fire and other fires as animals have been transferred to us. We have great relationships with the LA lifeguards, since of course we rescue marine mammals along the Malibu coast, and with the LA shelters, because we transfer animals in from those shelters as well, since so many people don't have transportation. That way we're able to provide services for folks who maybe don't have a vehicle of their own. We're very happy to be a part of the community and happy to be able to help Native California animals.
Thank you, Jennifer. And if anyone sees a hummingbird that's been injured to a seal that's stranded on a beach, look up California Wildlife Center. They've got the resources to help you out. So we'll keep leaning on you going forward. And thanks for everything you do.
Senator, this is Jeremy. It's my favorite Instagram too, is following the Wildlife Center and seeing all the animals that
little
are there.
Shout out for the Instagram. There you go. Leave it to the hipsters on our staff. I started to stay off. And Bob over at Motion Picture Television Fund just brought you a hummingbird. So there you go. I don't know if it was less than a penny. We'll have to ask Bob, but obviously worth more than that. So thank you all. Hey, I want to shout out though Poison Free Malibu, which goes far beyond Malibu. It sort of sparked a revolution just from the earnest and science-based efforts of Keon and Joel Shulman. You all have changed the landscape when it comes to how people use pesticides and rodenticides, from helping us change the laws in California and the use of these pesticides and rodenticides in our region, but also educating other regions too. You are just a beautiful couple, and through your love and your love of our wildlife, I think you've unlocked something very special and hopefully put us on the path to overcome this extinction epidemic that's on our hands. So Keon and Joel, I don't know if you got any messages of hope for us here. We know it's tough times out there for our wildlife, especially with this drought and too much poison still, but any insights to lend on what we might feel good about when it comes to the world of getting beyond poison?
Definitely. But first, I'd like to say how incredibly fortunate we are to have the California Wildlife Center. And we work with them and send animals there. We are really lucky to have them. Thank you, Jennifer. You know very well, Henry, that because you helped us so much in our latest accomplishment, which was Bill AB 1788 to put a moratorium on the worst of the rat poisons. So that happened a lot because of you and Richard Bloom. Thank you very much. In terms of hope, there's definitely hope, especially after the Woolsey fire. Last year, I was delighted finally that the California quails made an appearance back in the woods here. And just recently, over the last month or two, every night we have this visit by this wonderful skunk family that crawls under our gate. And they are the friendliest creatures, as long as you don't act in any antagonistic manner. They're wonderful animals. And also in Malibu, we are spreading the word, and we have some meetings planned with some big organizations to spread the protection of the coastal zone from not just rodenticides, but all pesticides. We accomplished that in May at the Coastal Commission hearing, where they made Malibu, all of it, pesticide free. And we're going to work up and down the coast to spread that word to protect our animals from the mountain lion to the smallest butterfly.
Yes, we also started a umbrella organization called CARP, Cities Against Rat Poisons. And in this umbrella organization, we created a poison-free Agora, poison-free Calabasas, a poison-free Conejo Valley, poison-free Topanga, and other entities that want to join our group and our voice. So we are very happy to be spreading this poison-free effort throughout our communities, and being the example of how to do it without poisons. We do not need poisons to solve any of our issues. Everything can be resolved without poisoning through repelling, excluding, and deterring. We've got it down. We understand the situation that's happening in our cities. We passed not only our LCP amendment, where we restricted pesticides throughout all of the city, we also passed a lid lock dumpster ordinance, because as we have discovered working with the various cities, that the major problem in the commercial areas has been exposed trash. And we have, the customers complain, the citizens complain, and what they do is they'll put bait boxes everywhere. So the poison bait boxes. So what we've discovered is that we do not need these poisons, that all we need to control our trash. We got to control the food supply. Food, water, and shelter is the solution.
That's right.
And we've got lots of solutions on our website. We've worked so hard on this, and
Cool.
It's simple and easy. It's effortless, and it does, some effort, but it's a lot easier than dealing with the pesticides. And the pesticides are not only affecting our wildlife, they're affecting our citizens, our children, and our pets.
Amen.
Okay, so this.
Amen. I think we cut off there for a second. I don't know if your audio is still coming through, but Keon, you're a force of nature, and we love you for it. And more owl boxes, less bait boxes. If you see the black box, but behind that, behind your apartment complex or behind the grocery store, call Poison Free Malibu. Let them know we have new rules. There's a new sheriff in town, and not talk. And it's and they're standing up for wildlife everywhere. So no more poison in our region, and we love you for your righteous mission here. So getting deeper into the Santa Monica Mountains for a second, Charlotte Perry, I don't want to give you too much, to overdo it here, but I truly believe Santa Monica Mountains Fund has changed the lives of tens of thousands of students in our region. But what you do, not just for students, but also for our wild neighbors that Keon and Joel were talking about, whether it's the radio collars we're using to track our mountain lions, or anticoagulant testing to make sure those rodenticides aren't in these animals, the health diagnostics and disease surveys. Y'all are the front lines. This native plant nursery you've got going on in Newbury Park. It's truly remarkable, Charlotte. So take the mic for a second and please accept on the behalf of the million people who live in the 27th district our greatest admiration for your work.
Thank you, Senator. It's really a huge honor to be here and to be included amongst all these amazing organizations and to hear about all of your work, because you all do an amazing job with what you're doing. So we kind of get involved in a lot of different aspects of the work supporting the National Park Service, whether it's, as you said, it's the wildlife, it's bringing, in a normal year, it would be 20,000 fourth graders to the park to have a day learning about the park with rangers, and at the nursery where they're growing 50,000 plants a day. But I was just going to focus on one person because we were asked to think about one person who's been helped through our work. So there's a wonderful lady called Michelle Feiner who works, she volunteers, she's a regular volunteer at the nursery. She just retired in 2020 from the Beverly Hills Police Department as a civilian staff member there. She worked there for 36 years, but she suffers from clinical depression. I had a conversation with her this afternoon, and she's been volunteering at the nursery since 2020 when she retired. And she said to me that that if it hadn't been for her opportunity to volunteer at the nursery, she didn't think she would have survived the pandemic, and that her health this has really helped her to maintain her health throughout this, because as we know, nature is a huge therapy for mental health, and this is a mental health that's been so badly affected for many, many people throughout this pandemic. The other thing she said is that she cherishes the ability to meet new friends and to work with like-minded people who want to do something for the environment, and particularly to be able to work with young people who are really, really focused on helping the environment. So yeah, it was great to have a long chat with her today. She also wanted me to mention Antonio Sanchez, who's our staff member who manages the nursery on behalf of the National Park Service and the fund. So thank you for giving us the opportunity, and all best wishes to everyone here.
No, thanks for giving us a little glimpse into just one life, but a big one at that, and for doing what you do. Thank you, Charlotte. Out in the Conejo Valley, also part of our Santa Monica Mountains family, the Conejo Open Space Foundation is another organization that is just tens of thousands. I mean, truly, when you look at just say Wildwood Regional Park out in the Conejo, I don't know, Jerry can come up with the number, but I bet over 20, 30,000 people have been through there. But all that wildland you protect, as well as the volunteer days. Honored to honor you, Jerry. I don't know if you're with us, but Conejo Open Space has been just remarkable.
I am here. Thank you, Senator, and thank you for the opportunity to talk. And yes, Wildwood Regional Park is very popular here. As a matter of fact, Britney Spears visited a couple of years ago and posted a picture on Instagram, and within weeks, 5,000 more people had visited Wildwood. So that presented a different set of problems, but
it's a good problem.
Yeah, we're very fortunate living here in the Conejo Valley. We have 150 miles of trails, and 40% of Thousand Oaks is open space. We are celebrating our 25th year anniversary this year. We have two main missions. One is to support volunteer activities, Trail Watch, Adopt a Trail, trail work days to maintain the trails in the open space, which have been very heavily used in the last years, as it's been a main source of exercise for so many people. And another main aspect of our mission is to educate the general public on using and maintaining and sustaining the open space. To that end, we've had a speaker series where we've become very popular. Actually, we have had speakers talking about wildfire prevention, wildlife ecology, the new planned wildlife corridor bridge over the 101 freeway, and even the history of filming television movies here in the Conejo Valley. And we also have sponsored the Trails Education Days, where every fourth grader in the Conejo Unified School District will come to Wildwood Park for some workshops and a naturalist-led hike. And it's so meaningful because so many of the kids have never been out in the open space before. We had to postpone that this year, of course, because of the pandemic. So briefly, we were asked to speak about one individual, and this year we launched a scholarship program, and it was eligible for all Ventura County high school students to apply who plan on majoring in environmental science or resource management in their college careers. It's a $1,000 scholarship that recurs each year if they maintain that major and grade point average. So each year they get another $1,000. We had two award winners, one of whom is going to Berkeley and is very thrilled and grateful, given the high cost of education, to be able to have the support. So we feel it's not only part of our mission, but maybe that we're helping to educate students who will ultimately come back to the Conejo Valley and support addressing environmental issues. So thank you again.
Awesome, Jerry. Keep up the great work, man. And we'll see you out on the trail real soon. Thanks for keeping it all in shape for us.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Hey, I'd be remiss in wrapping up this category. We, given the compressed time frame, we couldn't put every single person on here, but San Fernando Valley Audubon, unbelievable workout in Sepulveda Basin. Go talk to Pat someday and look at the migratory bird work going on down there. You'll blow your mind. You never knew was sitting there in Lake Balboa. TCEP, what the Topanga Coalition for Emergency Preparedness has done on wildfire in that Topanga area is truly our blueprint for wildfire resilience at a civic level, where a community is engaged and understanding their evacuation zones and understanding how to get prepared. So TCEP, especially getting through this last Palisades fire and unfortunately what's probably to come. We are deeply indebted to your work and we'll be learning from it for years to come. Tree People, everybody knows Tree People, but you may not realize that they're also contributing to our new climate resilience puzzle, not just in wildfire resilience, but also in dealing with extreme heat. When you have 121-degree days in Woodland Hills, and people are literally dying on us from these events, Tree People is providing shade. They're literally turning down the temperature of global warming in not just the San Fernando Valley, but throughout Southern California, and learning from counterparts in places like Australia. So to Andy and Cindy and their whole team, we're grateful. Sky Valley volunteers and volunteers cleaning communities, you guys have marshaled tremendous civic potential in a short amount of time. So we're grateful to you all as well, and sincerely appreciate your efforts going forward. And so your framed finalist award will be in the mail. Count on that. I want to move on to community health and safety and take a second to highlight Lily and Tehran's work at Adelante Comunidad de Conejo. Adelante, it has literally propelled us forward. And at a time where most people think that the Conejo Valley is a place that doesn't need help, you realize that there's a very diverse community living out there. And Adelante has really taught me about how to engage with families and provided a network that's been a lifeline to so many. So Lilian, I don't know if you're Lilian, if you're with us, but maybe talk a little bit about some of the families. There's too many I know to count, hundreds and hundreds, but you want to give us a little window into your life?
Yes. Hi. I would like to tell you that if you read our mission, you won't find anywhere where it says that we're gonna distribute food. But when COVID-19 crisis started, we decided to put aside our mission and to focus on working the families that were contacting us and asking for help. We partnered with the manager of an apartment complex in Thousand Oaks to establish a food pantry in order to address the food scarcity. There is one single woman in this apartment complex that she had saved some money to buy a car, but she has to use this money to pay her bills and rents instead because she lost her job. But she didn't have money to buy food. She was so grateful to be able to put food on her table for her and her only son that she quickly became one of our most committed volunteers. She found a place where she felt happy, comfortable, welcome, and she could speak her native language and she can choose and take only what she needs. She wanted to help other families that were in her same situation. And I can tell you that all of us Adelante members are volunteers. We are just families sharing what we have with other families. We're not rich, we just share what we have. And it is the only thing that we wanna do. And we are planning to begin working on our vision that is to empower families through education. Thank you.
God bless you for your work. And I have to tell you, the sign of a good organization is one where the people who you serve then become the servants themselves. When you feed a family and then they come back to you and they say, I want to serve. And you get it, it keeps growing and forward and forward and forward. So it shows that your organization is alive. It's not just a name on paper. You are alive out there. And bless you for that. Please keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and let's move in a different part of the Conejo Valley community, but the Conejo Free Clinic has been doing similar work in that they're bringing families, adults and children, out of the margins of society, either due to their income or maybe their documentation status. And in North LA County and in Ventura County, providing that medical, dental, but also some legal services. This clinic's doing remarkable work. I think Susan Murphy's with us here today. Susan, did you want to take a brief second and just accept our greatest appreciation for lifting people out of the shadows and really providing value out there?
Senator, I haven't found Susan Murphy.
It's okay, but you all should look them up. They're an all volunteer team and got an amazing board of directors. So they've been huge through COVID-19, and we sincerely appreciate Susan and their entire community's work. I see Karen's got her hand raised, but I'm not sure. Is Karen with them? Let's see. I don't want to give short shrift here to anybody.
Hi, Sue Murphy is here. She's under the name Sherry Perdomo.
Oh, Sherry Perdomo. Okay, you guys want to highlight Sherry Perdomo, and she'll become Susan Murphy magically.
Well, yeah, there's a few of them on that Zoom.
All more the merrier. Jump in, please.
Okay, there we go.
Hello. Yeah, you're here with us. Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. I'm Susan Murphy, and I'd like to introduce our executive director, Teresa Seeley, and Sherry Jo Perdomo, our wonderful dental clinic manager. And
Sherry.
I'm going to pass you over to Teresa. So, hi everybody. We're really happy and honored to be among so many amazing people and the beautiful work that you're doing. And I'm sitting in my state-of-the-art dental clinic right now, and I've been here for 27 years. And we provide medical, legal, and dental services to those who are either uninsured or underinsured. And we're very, very passionate about patient advocacy. So we don't think of ourselves as any clinic that you might have an experience going to. We are going to take each case by case, and we are going to go above and beyond and make sure that if a patient, once we've addressed the needs that they have, if they go beyond our scope of care, we will make sure that if it's I myself personally, follow them, go with them to an appointment, make sure, call the next place, make sure that everybody's on the same page and we understand and that the client and or patient knows what is to be expected and what, how they can interface with the system. So, we have
it's not easy work though. It's hard to navigate these systems, and it's an intimidating thing, especially when it comes to getting medical care. It's enough to keep a lot of people away. So you doing that navigation changes everything, huh?
It really is, and we do it all with mostly volunteers. I have 5 paid staff, and all of the attorneys, the doctors, the nurses, they're all volunteering their time, and they come from UCLA and Kaiser and private practice. So it's top-notch specialists and doctors that are here, but and attorneys to provide, their service really generously. And we have a breast cancer program that's quite unique, and we're able to do breast screening and diagnostic biopsies and tissue samples and all of the things that we could do, so that when we do have to send them to the county, which would be the next step, the doctors there know, and the patient will be apprised of what kind of treatment will be the most appropriate for whatever cancer.
I think we just lost your audio for a second. I'm sorry. But let me pop up back on the screen for a second. I just got to say, if anybody knows a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist out there who wants to give their love and their heart to this, please go see the folks at Conejo Free Clinic. I think you just heard it from the leader herself. Bless you for the work. And you know, it's not easy navigating this system, but by dismantling it and putting that expertise to bear, this is very high value care you're giving out to the community. So I can't tell you how grateful we are for saving all the lives and doing the work the government can't do sometimes. You know, you get ahead of it in a way that maybe county can't always be eyes and ears. So bless you for it. And guys, everyone, maybe I'll come put in some volunteer hours myself. I got to dust off my immigrant legal service training. So we'll see you out there soon. Thank you. I did want to highlight, I'm not sure if Martha Shapiro is on with Conejo Valley Senior Concerns, but they've been around since, I think, 1975, something way back when. And they're, first of all, just a really fun place to be. But when it comes to preparing meals for homebound seniors, I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of meals to a lot of households for people who couldn't get out during this pandemic. Conejo Valley Senior Concerns was right there. So I don't know, Martha, if you're on to lend us a little insight, how did you pull this all off? It's a lot of lunch you delivered. And
yes,
I imagine people were grateful to see you on the other end. So how'd you do it?
Well, thank you so much for recognizing us today. We really quickly had to pivot some of our programs and then expand some of our other programs. So we were able to run 3 different home delivered meal programs and expand with the partnership of a local restaurant, Country Harvest, and also Brent's Restaurant stepped up and helped out, so that we have actually provided over 288,000 freshly prepared meals to homebound seniors. We know that seniors represent, 80% of all of the deaths from COVID. So it was an emergency to make sure that they could stay home safely. That meant getting them food and supplies. And so we started an emergency household supply pantry as well. But it also meant making sure that they didn't feel alone and that they were linked, they had some place to call and someone to talk to. So we really made sure to create those connections. We had one wonderful volunteer who was delivering pantry supplies to a woman every week, and he got to know her and learned that it was going to be the first Mother's Day since her son had passed away. So he showed up at her house on Mother's Day with fresh flowers for her and just helped her feel loved and cared for. And we have so many stories like that. So it's been beautiful to see the whole community really mobilize around making sure that our older adult population felt supported and cared for. And we continue to do that. So thank you so much for letting us share with you today.
For that one special Mother's Day and that one bouquet of flowers multiplied by so many people, Martha, we're grateful. People have been languishing alone through this, and the tragedy is often hidden, but you're not shying away from that at all, nor your army of volunteers. So thank you for all your work.
Thank you so much.
And, I want to move on to Senior Alliance for Empowerment, also known as SAFE, who's really been focused on not just seniors, but the greatest generation, the seniors, those very low income, disabled seniors, and especially our veterans, to help them through this. I think Catherine Goodspeed is with us here, and you've been doing, a lot
Yes, I am.
Moving mountains over the last few years. You have, Catherine. So I'm curious to hear your insight into how you make the magic happen.
Well, I tell you, it's been a wonderful experience for us. We're all volunteers, and we have been able to help over 100 families, very low-income families, living in mobile home parks in Thousand Oaks. And we have people that are wondering if they're going to get their medications or if they're going to get food, because they're living only on Social Security. And they can't put new roofs on their mobile homes. They can't do new energy efficient windows or heaters. We have right now people or air conditioners. We have people that need air conditioners. We have people that have no heaters in their mobile homes. So we have been able to get a grant through the City of Thousand Oaks and HUD. And we do a survey every year or every other year to see what the needs of these people are. We have over 100 people that ask for things, and we can only do so much, but we really try to do the people who are the seniors, the veterans, the disabled, that really have absolutely no means to do these kinds of things. So
it's brave work, Catherine, and for a lot of people, you just assume they're taken care of. But the appalling fact is that we leave so many people behind, even those who have served this country and put everything on the line. You know, they're sitting in their mobile home, literally freezing. So those small acts of bravery add up, and really honored to have you with us here. And I hope you keep up the great work. You got a really, really beautiful team of volunteers there too. So thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. And thank you so much for acknowledging us. We once had a person that said, where do we warehouse these seniors? It just broke our heart. It just broke our heart. So
yeah,
we don't warehouse our seniors. We take care of them.
We don't. And no one wants to think about getting old or what that is, right? I mean, a lot of us sort of want to banish the thought, but it's a beautiful thing to serve. And turns out you actually learn something too in the process. So if any of you guys have extra time and you're in Catherine's area, I hope you'll sign up for SAFE and go empower some people who have done a lot for us too. So thanks, Catherine. Hey, I think I see Jose somewhere out there.
I'm here.
Hey, Tarzana Treatment Centers, you guys have, you know, I've been talking to Albert and your whole team for many years. You've taught me a lot about how to break the cycles of addiction and substance use. And there couldn't be a more critical time for Tarzana Treatment Centers to really show what's possible, to turn people's lives around on the streets and elsewhere. I want to talk a little bit about life in San Fernando Valley and just how you sort of turn people from the bottom of the bottom of their life to something where there's some hope and maybe even some sobriety in the future.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for this amazing inclusion with these incredible set of organizations. We're very proud and humbled by this recognition. And I also want to say thank you. You're being so respectful in how you're introducing each of the organizations, and the fact that you know so much about each and every one of us is just so uplifting. So shout out to you for that amazing recognition. The story I wanted to tell you, our inspiration story, is about Miss J, who a little bit of a year ago, she was drug addicted and living in the streets of the San Fernando Valley. She's really a true story of healing and recovery. As a result of falling out with her family, Miss J lost her housing. To cope with being homeless, she started abusing alcohol and drugs. And as time went on, she developed an addiction. She really never intended to be homeless, and her feelings of having been abandoned by her family and society, they only intensified her drug use. Through our homeless outreach team, she was connected with TTC, and she enrolled in SUD treatment. Her counselor also connected her to transitional housing, but her sobriety was challenged when her drug dealer and still drug using friends attempted to reconnect with her. She needed more support for her sobriety, and fortunately, she agreed to be enrolled in a residential SUD treatment program. Subsequently, she completed that 3-month program, and she was able to safely re-enter the shelter home. Ms. J has developed a collaborative working relationship with her SUD treatment team, and it's not uncommon for her to often say, "Kelly's my girl." She's referring to one of the members of her team. "I'm going to want to run this by her, and she will help me see it straight." And of course, Ms. J had big plans for herself that included enrolling in school, finding steady work, and moving into her own apartment. all of which she has been able to accomplish in the last year. Also, this spring, she celebrated her 1 year of sober and drug-free birthday. With her newfound sober friends and support from her treatment team, she no longer feels abandoned by society. She comments, "My TTC team has always treated me with dignity and respect, and because of that, today I feel safe and filled with hope for the future." At TTC, we are also grateful and proud of Ms. J for her tenacity and power to succeed, despite a horrible set of circumstances that could literally happen to any of us. So that's our inspiration story. Thank you.
Jose, that means so much. And, you know, Ms. J doesn't take that journey by herself. She doesn't leave that life and sort of fight that pull to go back to her old ways without a new kind of family. And to be that, it's more than an organization. I don't think we make it through our current drug addiction and homelessness crisis without TTC. I don't think there's a way to do it. And if we could just multiply you, I think we'd be a lot better off. So please keep growing. You want TTCs in your neighborhood. I promise you this. Anyone out there who's looking to tackle this issue, there's the wrong way to treat these issues, but these guys are doing it the right way. And I'm grateful for seeing everyone with the dignity that they have and breathing hope back into their lives. So thank you, Jose, and please give my best to your whole organization. Hey, so Topanga Community Center, I don't know if Kelly's on, but you want to talk about, I don't know, voting, meals, what it is to wake up civic life in an era of Zoom. You're doing it all at Topanga Community Center. You've been a hub for us for many years. You want to just give what's the secret sauce? How do you do this?
Well, thank you so much for your recognition. And
Yeah.
How we do it, we just do it with so much volunteer help. We are a team of volunteers, and we managed to recruit remotely with so much more support. And I know we're really hard to put into a category because we do so many things. Our mission there, as you can see, is to maintain and upgrade and enhance the TCC and the community center that was founded in 1949 and built by the community. And unfortunately, as we all know, we couldn't do that. So what we did was we had to mobilize within all of Topanga. This past year, we planned socially distanced events. We brought we like drive-in movies. We also brought the Easter Bunny to the Easter Bunny fan base. Like, if you can't come to us, we'll come to you. We had Dos de Mayo. We had the mariachis travel throughout Topanga to bring music and light to the people who had so much had to be inside. But our big focus had to be our vulnerable population, and just like what Martha was talking about, seniors who are stuck at home. And we managed to serve over 14,000 meals, hot meals, delivered by volunteers in a contactless manner to our seniors. And I have a letter I wanted to share from two of them.
Please.
Dear TCC cooking artists, I'm so greatly pleased and delighted with your tasteful deliveries of dinners. We enjoyed the turkey and vegetables with rice and the muffins. What a wonderful gift. Rick and I look forward to your generous and delicious deliveries. We are both sleeping better and deeper nights after eating your loving dinners. They are sensational. I think you're loving angels to our community. You care about all of us. Your beautiful and delicious food has lifted our spirits. Fresh and delicious is your motto, and nourished is how we feel. We treasure your talent, caring, and generosity. Much love and thanks from Penny, Rick, and neighbor Henry, who also told us how greatly he loves what you have done for him. Best wishes to you. So I just wanted to share that because it really embodies what we have heard from many of the people we've delivered our meals to. And thank you so much for the recognition.
More than a meal, right? It's more than a meal. Yeah, I want, if you have leftovers, let me know. Also,
rarely.
Keep it up. We love you for it. Thank you, Kelly. Hey, I don't know if Joe Christer's on with us with Hope Connection.
I'm here.
But yeah. Hey, Joe. So, you know, we've had a lot of loss this past year, and what Hope Connection where the places you all go are dangerous places for a lot of people. Places that people want to hide, and not necessarily any of us to really ever want to be there. But when you're touched by the death of a loved one, Hope Connection's been there. What is it? What is it that you do with people to help them with grief, and how does healing happen? I mean, you see it very intimately every day, but you want to give us a little insight into your sacred mission there?
Yes, thank you, Senator Stern. We really appreciate you acknowledging us. I've been doing these groups with Hope for over 30 years. Wow. And I can tell you that our work, it just feels like sacred work. I always say to people, like, we do God's work, because we go to a place with individuals who come into our groups and they meet total strangers. And because all of our groups are run by licensed therapists, and we all really care about the people that come in our group. And this year in particular has been a rough one, because people have come into the groups who lost their spouses or their parents because of COVID. And they were at home, quarantined, they had no one. So we all learned Zoom very quickly. And many of our folks that wanted to get on Zoom, we actually were trying to help them to get on Zoom. And when they come, I'll tell you how the healing most happens is because it's an amazing community. When they come, for example, when we're in person on Thursday nights, we're at Valley Beth Shalom Temple, they sponsor us and give us rooms. And we have about 80 people that show up.
Wow.
And they're broken down into 6 different groups according to their months of grieving. So group 1 is 1 to 4 months. Group 2 is 4 to 8 months and ongoing. And so they start with a group of people that are at just the place they are. They feel broken, they feel lost, they feel confused. And what we do with them is we kind of like are taking them on as though we were alpine experts in climbing a mountain. We show them where the potholes are. We teach them about what grief is. We normalize, we validate for them. We help them to recognize that they're not alone, and we help them through the grieving process. But the community is the amazing healing. I'll give you an example. We had a man come into our groups. I'll use.
Oh no, hold on, wait, hit your thing again. We just lost you midstream.
Okay, I'm there.
Yeah, you're back, Joe, please.
Okay. Alan came into our groups. He was only 64, and his wife of 31 years had died. So he called. We did an intake with him on the phone. He filled out some paperwork. And I walk into, this is when we were still in person, I walk in to turn on the lights in the main room where we all meet for general announcements. And Alan was back in the corner in a fetal position, just crying. He was so broken. And over the next years, and he stayed for 2 years, he really struggled, but he learned a lot and he shared a lot. And what was amazing is how the group members all gathered around him, especially the older men. They would gather around him and they'd come to me and say, can you help him? I said, of course, we're gonna all help him. I'm going to make this long story short because I could talk about hope for forever. It's my passion. And like I said, I see it as very sacred work. He finished our 2-year program. He still cries. He joined our group called New Beginnings, which is a group that we started for people after 2 years of grief because they still wanted to do work and they still wanted a community. And now Alan is one of our mentors. We have a mentoring program. And what that means is when new people come into the group, they actually, Alan or one of the other mentors will meet with them, whether it's on Zoom or in person, and just talk to them a little bit so that very first night, they don't feel so alone and they don't feel like they're total strangers.
Yes.
And I can say that at the end of this 2-year program, they've created friends that they have for a lifetime because they've met and been together in such a vulnerable place. On my board, I have 3 board members that went through our program 20 years ago. They still meet each week with the people they met in those groups 20 years ago for dinner. So it is partially licensed therapists who are trained in grief and group, but a lot of it is the community and how they come together and they hold a sacred space for someone to just feel, and we educate them. So basically, I hope that answers your question.
It does, and the thread is so fascinating that those you serve. Those you've helped, the Allens out there, help other men and women through their grief. That sort of the sort of natural reproduction that happens within this organization sort of makes it self-sustaining in a way that I think we're seeing a common thread here, even emerging, of whether it's Adelante or those out there who have gone through the care at at the substance use treatment with Miss J. So, for that grief in a very intimate and rare space, we are grateful to you, Joe. Thanks. And those of you who know people who are hurting, or if you're hurting yourself in this kind of circumstance, please look Hope Connection up. Ileana Tavera, I think you're with us out there somewhere.
I am. I'm here. Oh, there I am.
You've been patient, and I know you're a busy woman out there with Haven Hills. Bringing survivors back to their lives who have gone through domestic violence, and in your own way, scrapping it out without even all the resources in the world, and frankly too few for how many cases you've got. You make it happen every single day. Please just give us a little insight into the world that may be right in front of our eyes, but we may not realize it. You think all is well, and you're in the San Fernando Valley, but there are broken homes and people who are hurting out there, and talk about what Haven Hills provides to them.
Well, thank you first of all for inviting us today. This has been wonderful. It's been really fulfilling and very touching to hear the wonderful stories from all the other partners out there who are doing some amazing work. So to be included with them is just amazing on its own. But we are Haven Hills. And we offer shelter, crisis intervention, counseling, advocacy, and activities to support increased economic opportunity to over 2,500 survivors of domestic violence each year. Through our shelter and outreach programs, we save lives, inspire change, and transform victims into empowered survivors. The pandemic has not been kind to domestic violence. Domestic violence is up around the world. And we're seeing more often more severe cases of domestic violence reaching us in our shelter. Requests for our services have been astronomical. We went from receiving approximately 100 calls a week in our hotline to more than 300 calls during the height of the pandemic. We were a proud partner of Project Safe Haven, which was a project of the City of Los Angeles that leveraged private contributions and state funding to provide shelter, case management, and permanent housing support. And through this program, we were able to assist an additional 246 adults and children last year. Clients like Adam, who suffered from years of physical and psychological abuse at the hands of his wife. He thought that as a straight man, no one would believe that he was being abused and that there was no help available to him. And one day, as he was grocery shopping, he saw a poster with information on Project Safe Haven and our hotline number, and he made that call. And we admitted him into temporary shelter, and he began his journey to recovery. That journey included group and individual counseling, case management, referral to legal services, and safe housing. And from Project Safe Haven, Adam was admitted into our transitional shelter program, which provides up to 18 months of no-cost temporary housing to help stabilize survivors and help them rebuild their lives free from violence. And Adam is rebuilding his life. He obtained a full-time job. He attends support group and individual counseling to help him deal with the trauma that he's experienced. He works with our housing navigator to rebuild his credit. So when he exits our program, he'll be able to rent his own apartment. And we will help with housing subsidies to ensure that he's successful in maintaining that housing. Adam has obtained full custody of his son and is slowly overcoming the stigma of being a male survivor of domestic violence. And that's what we do. We lift up survivors. We provide them with the emotional and financial resources they need to be able to overcome the trauma and the abuse that they've suffered for many years. And we are just so proud to be a part of Adam's journey And thank you for inviting us today to share his story and the work that we do.
Thanks for sharing Adam's story and for letting me see a little bit into your world when I first started out in office here and giving me a little insight to what was happening literally right down the street from me where I was living in Canoga Park. You know, you're just out of the plain sight of all of us angels sort of tucked away in our community, those temporary shelters, but the people who make those shelters work, everything, Ileana. Thank you, sincerely. And I hope this has lent some insight to those out there who may know someone who's suffering from abuse and can look to a place like Haven Hills when there's nowhere else to turn. So thanks for that. I don't know if Carrie, I think she was on for a second, may have had to drop off, but if she's still here or anyone from Topanga Town Council, really, you know, we talked a little bit about a few of the organizations in the Topanga community, and I hope those of you not from Topanga can realize how powerful their civic alliances are. But Topanga Town Council is really the community fabric that brings it all together. You know, fostering community, all the work you've done on wildfires, working with TSEP that we mentioned earlier, and Arson Watch, working on emergency preparedness. Carrie, are you around to just not just for your glamour shot with Smokey the Bear, but maybe for a little insight into some of the ways you've been working hard and showing resilience over the past year with an individual or other folks you're serving? If not, your reputation precedes you, so you don't need my honorifics. Well, we'll follow up with you and hopefully you keep Topanga strong and resilient for years to come. I did see Bob Beitcher on here a bit earlier with Motion Picture Television Fund. He's the guy with the hummingbird, but he's about more than hummingbirds. Bob's an institution, and what they've done at MPTF, and those of you who don't know, I mean, this started back early on in the entertainment industry, but realizing that, you know, after all the glamour and the lights go away, there are a lot of people who actually need help and fall through the cracks. And what you've done in caring, especially through the hardest times of COVID, is harrowing. And I remember being on those scary calls of trying to hustle out testing supplies and just the sort of desperation that a place has to operate within, but being calm in that stir. Motion Picture Television Fund, I know you've had your share of tragedies, but I would say you've triumphed throughout this. So Bob, to your whole team, I just really grateful to you for what you've done to take care of your own and show the heart in the entertainment industry. I come from that industry, and you know, sometimes it seems like all glitz and glamour, but you show it's more than that. Are you with us, Bob? If not, I promise to wrap up your award nicely, and thank you for your hummingbird too. Okay,
Senator, turns out that Carrie is on. She's on a phone, so we didn't know it was her.
Oh, it's okay. And Bob already gave a good plug for California Wildlife Center too. So I think we got some cross fertilization going on here. Carrie wants to say a quick word, great. But we also, yeah, if you guys are ever just driving through the area, go look up Motion Picture Television Fund. It's a very special place. They've been backbone to not just the seniors, but people in the industry who are hurting too. And hopefully with the new film tax credit, we can help do our part as well.
Hey, Henry, this is Terry.
Hey, welcome.
Sorry, just wanted to say thank you for this great event. And I've learned about so much from organizations that I didn't even know existed. So this was really eye-opening for me, and I'm just humbled. So I don't want to take up any more time, but I just want to say thank you for everything you do. And the Topanga Town Council is very grateful for the representation you have at our monthly meetings. And you've been just absolutely a rock star on various issues that are very important in our community, like wildfire preparedness, conservation issues, environmental protection. And we just are so grateful. And we are determined to keep you in office forever. So anyway, that's our take.
I don't know if I want this forever, but we love you dearly. And you guys have been just awesome throughout. So give the whole family at Motion Picture Television Fund our love, especially all the people working really hard in there on your front lines. We know all the caregivers in there don't get enough credit. So we love you guys. Jewish Family Services, I see you're on screen. I don't know if Nancy was able to join us, but oh yeah. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for helping look out for my father-in-law and thousands of other Angelenos, not just from the Jewish community, but across the spectrum, keeping them fed and loved, and from IHSS on down to, you know, just that meal and a bit of love. My wife said it last night. I was asking her, you know, why is Jewish Family Services so special? Because we were doing homework on IHSS, and I've been getting deeper into these issues. And it's like, she said, you guys made it so easy on her family. You know, navigating the Medi-Cal system is darn near impossible for people. And especially when you want to get that support in your home, it's very intimidating to navigate bureaucracy. But you held their hand, picked up the phone literally, and it wasn't like call 9 other people. It's like JFS is going to be there. So Nancy, just take a second. State of California is invested in you, obviously, but we are too, and we love you.
Well, thank you, Senator. That's very kind. And as many people have said, we are just really lucky to have you as our representative and to be on this call with so many fantastic partners. Many of whom I know very well, and a few who are brand new, and it's such a great community gathering. And you know, your father-in-law is one of many specials in our community, and we've been really fortunate that in a time of incredible need over the last year, like our colleagues from the Conejo Valley Senior Services mentioned, you know, we all pivoted as we had to and have just continued to provide services. We went remote as, you know, where necessary, but our shelter stayed open. Our food pantry continued to provide groceries. Our meal service went from in-person to home delivered. And we've been able to continue to provide critical care for our community across a broad spectrum of needs and populations. And we could not do it without the partnership and support of our elected leadership. We are very fortunate to have had help from the state in particular in response to the pandemic and working closely with others. And we are just incredibly fortunate to be part of this community and look forward to continuing to work together with you and Joshua anytime he needs us. You know.
You don't want that. It's too much demand at this point, but there are so many others you guys are helping out there, and it shows. Like I said.
Thank you, Senator.
Right on, Nancy. Keep up the great work. You're like you're a one-woman show. You don't need there's people hire all these fancy lobbyists and have all these different people, and it's like, no, you just need Nancy Volper. Get it done. Speaking of one-woman shows, by the way, who can just somehow muster that energy to elevate, I want to highlight Strength United and their champion, Stephanie Mullen. Stephanie has sort of single-handedly, in my view, with an incredible cadre of social service and mental health and education professionals, built a new kind of model out in San Fernando and Santa Clarita valleys. You know, for over the last 30 years or so, Strength United has been basically in a community agency, but I really think y'all have really broken the mold in terms of doing trauma-informed family care and really being a hub going forward. So Stephanie, thanks for your work. And, you know, this 24/7 crisis response that you do all the time, assault treatment and dealing with folks on the streets, it's remarkable. And any highlights or stories of hope to show, to point to for our group? I know you have so many, so I don't mean to put you on the spot.
I will be very timely in my minute, but again, thank you so much, Senator Stern, for highlighting Strength United, serving victims of interpersonal violence across the valley. And what we have seen with our 24-hour hotline, we opened it up to serving all individuals if they were dealing with anxiety and trauma due to COVID, to give us a call. We found that since the pandemic, our hotline increased by over 46%. Many of those calls were our domestic violence survivors, and we were really pleased to be able to work with the city to be a part of Project Safe Haven, serving over 100 different families, 200 kids, getting them into hotels, making sure they had the resources they need during the pandemic, which was difficult. And, we've worked really hard on our advocacy and volunteering to just bring people together. One of the things that's been just kind of scary is how we haven't had a lot of eyes on kids. And we anticipate that there will be a lot of children identified as victims of crime coming in. And one of the ways that we were able to have eyes on kids during the time of the pandemic was to offer homework support. So many of our counselors were actually Zooming in and doing homework support so we could see what was going on in the households and check in with parents. And as you mentioned, our model, it's really important to us that we have multidisciplinary teamwork where we bring in partners, and we have law enforcement on site, we have nurses on site, caseworkers, lawyers, so we can do wraparound care for clients and service their needs over the needs of the system. So we want to thank you so much for championing some of that, which is our Family Justice Center program, and helping get support for that in the state this year. You were just such a great champion. And again, it's such an honor to be highlighted today with all of these amazing organizations.
Well, I hope you all, if you need though the advice on how to be a great advocate, really looking at folks like Stephanie and Nancy, and really like Stephanie, your entrepreneurialism about all this with this kind of great organization has hopefully paid off. And so I'm glad that folks got to meet you too, because I think you're going to be a leader for many years to come. But that mentorship that you can provide to other leaders who say, well, my organization's, how do I actually get involved and maybe get on the radar of Sacramento? We're not that far away. It's not that intimidating of a place. So yeah, hopefully we take your work with Family Justice Center and the whole Strength United push and turn it into a model.
Thank you.
Let's touch on a few other finalists. Friends of Malibu Urgent Care, I'll go in reverse order, but you guys somehow found a way to stay online, even though the diesel ran out during Woolsey. Got a tetanus shot to my best friend's dad. Been there for me in my hardest times, including getting a terrible burn when I was a kid. And we love you for it, Malibu Urgent Care. North LA County Regional Center, we could spend a long time talking about regional centers and the work that you all have done with folks in the developmentally disabled community. California tried to step up, I think not enough, and I think the mission's not done, but hopefully trying to help your workers move themselves out of poverty, but for navigating COVID and for being a resource to so many young people and working people who are dealing with their own challenges. We're grateful. Rotary Club of Westlake Village Foundation. We know you guys, I try to get out there every single year, but this year's been tougher than most, but sincerely grateful for being that true Rotarians in the mold of your founding for our whole community in Westlake. And then lastly, the Westminster Free Clinic, the care you provide is first rate, but the fact that you're serving communities that people often in that want don't know exist, you're finding the unfound and seeing those who are not seen. So thank you for that. Let's switch over. We've got 2 categories left before we wrap up here, and thank you for all your patience and everyone who stuck around. There is going to be one winner at the end, but they're so humble and you all are so humble. It's not really about the grand prize because you're going to get a certificate, and frankly, it's worth nothing but the paper it's printed on. It's the true results of your work that have value. So thanks for everyone for sticking around for the home stretch here. Let's touch briefly on economic empowerment and talk about West Valley Warner Center. Diana Williams, period, done, full stop. She's it. Diana, how'd you navigate this past year? How are you doing? I miss you. I just want to see your face. Hopefully you're on here with us. You've been marshaling this incredible business community for philanthropy, for hopefully growing our West Valley Warner Center hub into a place that can be for housing and retail and solving homelessness and so many other things and helping new entrepreneurs come up. But Diana, what's your magic? Is it just you? And she may not be on with us, but if you don't know Diana Williams and you got a business in that area, please look them up. Calabasas Chamber of Commerce, I know, was also a crucial partner for us through this pandemic and helping small businesses get support. Along with Valley Economic Alliance and Ventura County SCORE, we had to help a lot of small businesses. You're talking about mom and pop restaurants and little retail operations, and so many places hurting, having to navigate complicated government programs. These organizations are the ones that we felt truly exhibited that leadership and banging their head against the wall so that small businesses could make it. So thank you all for being part of this event. Last but not least, we want to touch on housing hunger and homelessness. We have a few different organizations here. I want to start off with LA Family Housing, though. I don't know if Katie Tell's on with us, but LA Family Housing, I think you've been serving, it's like over 10,000 people a year for many years. Talk a little bit about your housing strategies and some of the people you're helping, but really it's more than a house, as I understand it. I mean, when we look at your work, it's more than just the physical space. You want to join us here for a sec, Katie, and accept our appreciation?
Senator, hi, it's Stephanie Klasky Gamer.
Oh, hey, Stephanie. Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there.
No worries.
Welcome.
No worries.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And again, as everyone else has said, thank you for recognizing LA Family Housing among all these fabulous organizations. One of the things that I think you're really lifting up this evening is how rich the service providers are here in our region. And I really love that so many of our partners, whether it's Many Mansions or Hope of the Valley, Jewish Family Services, and close to my heart is Temple Judea, where I actually grew up. And I will say it's how LA Family Housing was formed. So back in the early 80s, when Steve Rubin was the rabbi there and he led Valley Interfaith Council, a group of faith leaders representing the San Fernando Valley came together to address a growing crisis amongst homeless families. And their strategy back in '83 was to purchase an old hotel in North Hollywood and convert it into a shelter where 40 families could stay for up to 1 month. Today, LA Family Housing has about 27 properties that we own and operate that we have developed. We have 13 more in our pipeline that we're building, because as you said, it is far more than just the structure of a home where people are living. It is the full host of services that we provide from our, oh my goodness, that is so old. Hide that image. I don't know where you got that.
We got an outdated icon for you. I like
that.
it.
No, my goodness, I call that like
okay,
our
all right,
spaceship.
we'll cycle it off. Let's go.
Yeah, no, totally funny. Anyway, so yes, we're serving about 11,000 people a year. We couldn't do it without the support of our elected officials, our volunteers, our generous donors. But most importantly, during this past year of the pandemic, we were able to step up in ways that we never imagined, going back to our roots and taking over hotels and motels through Project Roomkey. So we operated 5 Project Roomkey sites, and in a matter of about 2.5 weeks, hired 250 people and moved 700 people inside of our most vulnerable. And now, through the state's help, we acquired 4 hotels at the end of last year and converting those into apartments so that there is a full range, like Hope of the Valley, providing the tiny homes, interim housing, to LA Family Housing, providing both interim and permanent housing. So thank you for including us with this group and for your continued support.
To just hear you talk about that and just talking about those families. Like, we spend so much time thinking about this work and trying to fund it and structure it, and then like you come in and do it and there's 700 families, and that's anyway. Thank you. Makes me feel like I'm doing something some days too. So please keep up the great work, and we'll keep leaning on you to change people's lives forever. So thank you. You mentioned Ken Kraft's operation over at Hope of the Valley. Their rescue mission has got a pretty unique model, and I don't want to step on Ken's toes here, but I think they're not a super old organization. I think it was, maybe 10, 11 years ago, something like that. But you've been doing immediate assistance and tiny shelters. You want to talk a little bit about your recent progress, Ken?
Yeah, and thank you, Senator Stern. And again, it's such an honor to be recognized with all the other great leaders and nonprofits in the area. I think we're just trying, like many others, we're trying to respond to very present, real crisis needs that we see, whether it's with animals, we see so many here, or whether it's with literacy or arts. But for Hope of the Valley, it's really trying to address this homeless crisis that you can't help but drive the city streets and see the numbers of encampments, the numbers of people living on the streets, and it's heartbreaking. And so, we believe in permanent supportive housing and affordable housing, and we're so thankful for partners like LA Family Housing that they're able to build so many of these. But in the meantime, we come to the realization people just cannot wait on the streets while some of these projects are being built. And so we've been able to work very closely with a number of council members to open up not only the first tiny home community, but the largest tiny home community in the state of California, and soon will be the largest tiny home community in the nation. For Hope of the Valley, we ended 2020 with 9 shelters and 507 beds, and we'll end this year with 16 shelters and 1,552 beds available for people.
That number went up, Ken. That number went up. Last time I was talking to you, it keeps going up. I love that number.
Yeah, working on a few other things as well, but it's just because the need is so important, and we have to, really work hard to get people off the street, stabilize them, bring them the resources that they need, so that we can then move them into permanent housing when it's available. So, thank you again just for this opportunity to be part of such a great group of people.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed the sleepover. We'll get back out there though. I'm telling you though, my wife was like 8 months pregnant. It's like, I want to go to the tiny home. I want to sleep in there. I'm like, just give it a second. We need you on a good solid queen mattress for now, but we'll come back to you. Okay. Hey, I know we mentioned Many Mansions, and I think Mr. Schroeder is here with us. I had the opportunity to sit down with Many Mansions over the years, and what they've been doing in Ventura and LA County is a big deal on the rental housing side of this spectrum, right? I mean, we're talking about a very diverse spectrum, and when we're solving the affordability and the homelessness crisis. But Richard, you want to just touch briefly on what Many Mansions does and where the void that you're filling out there for so many families in our area?
Yeah, thank you, Senator Stern. We work with, and thank you to the other nonprofits here. We actually work with many of you. We build affordable housing throughout Ventura and Los Angeles counties. Our focus lately has been the supportive housing for persons that are homeless and have a disability. Stephanie had mentioned we actually are working with LA Family Housing on a particular project, our Summit View apartments for veterans who are homeless. So we'll have a great story to tell, I think, maybe next year. But really, it's also about the people. We can't forget about the people that we're serving. So we serve persons that are homeless, families, children. And I wanted to tell just a very brief story of one of our resident children. The pandemic has been hard for all of us, but especially our school-aged children. So we've been running our summer camp program this summer. This is our 21st year of that. And the kids have been very excited. There's a theme every week. One of the kids is named Noah, and he, very energetic, very giving. Every week we give out a big prize to one of the children. And one week Noah got a prize, and he was so excited about it and so proud. But he saw that other camp kids were looking at the prize, so he decided to give out his prize. He gave all the items in the prize he gave out to all the kids, and he was so happy for that, and he had a heart for that, and you could really see the joy in his eyes. And I think about that because, you know, in affordable housing, you know, many in our community really do not want affordable housing, and they speak out against it, and especially they speak out against our residents and say hurtful things. But, you know, if everyone were like Noah, if everyone had that heart of giving, I think the world would be a better place. And I think people's fears of affordable housing would change if they really saw the benefit of it and who actually lives with us. So I really want to thank you again, Senator Stern, for all your support, and all our fellow nonprofits for making this a wonderful community that we work in.
You make it easy to say yes. And part of elevating your work here today is helping us all get to yes when it comes to housing and solving this crisis. So you make my job a lot easier, and all the local officials too, who we know we've got to solve this. So thank you. You know, you talk about Noah's sort of response. I can't help but think of Oliver Wendell Holmes, the great Supreme Court Justice, once said, feeling begets feeling, but great feeling begets great feeling, right? And there's this sort of energy where it multiplies itself that hopefully even yields from today. Hopefully we've got some great feelings that are begetting more great feelings, and we can keep rising together. So thank you so much. I think one of our last honorees tonight is up. I think is it Christy Pollard who's with us here with Food Share Ventura County?
Yes, it is.
Cool. Hey, thanks for joining us, Christy. And oh my gosh, Food Share. I mean, I didn't quite understand what it was to operate a program. We were trying to figure this out at the state level, and you know, working on Great Plates and working on all of our social services programs. And then you all just emerged as not just a standout in our region, but really throughout the state of California as the model for how to get things done in an efficient way and really reaching people. So honored to have you with us, Christy. And I don't think people really understand the hunger crisis that's happening on our doorsteps here. But maybe you can lend a little insight into your work there.
Sure. Well, I just echoing what everyone else said, thank you so much for the recognition. It's such an honor to be with so many great organizations doing wonderful work in our communities to make them better places to live, work, and help one another. So I'll try to keep it short, but yeah, I mean, as a food bank, you know, we're providing food through many nonprofit partners within the community to serve food to those who need it in whatever capacity that looks like. So it could be meals, it could be groceries. And then the pandemic hit. So we went from serving 75,000 people a month, double to 150,000. And it was just crazy. So as everyone has done, we've had to, you know, just make changes and adjust to the emerging needs of the community. And that's what we strive to do. So
give us that once more, Christy, give us that once more. In 1 month, what did increase from?
75,000 people a month to 150,000 people a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was Ventura County, and our, you know, food banks across the nation have been seeing the same thing. And many of our partners who distribute food are actually here as honorees tonight too. So we work with a lot of great ones. Adelante was one of our new ones that joined on. We had 190 partners in the community, and it jumped to 235 this year. So we had some new ones join in to kind of fill those gaps and rise to the occasion. So thanks to all that everyone has done, and thanks to you again for the recognition.
Right on. Keep up the amazing work. We're going to be watching you perform miracles every day, and I hope the demand goes down. That's all I can say. Those numbers scare me.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, I know we've gone over time, and maybe we've blown it for even our after party, but frankly, this is where the party is, as it is. You know, we've been through a lot of amazing organizations tonight. So it's not that we have to necessarily pick the winner above all winners, because the fabric and the framework that you all put together, to me, is enough infrastructure to survive the next decade and the next pandemic, and it gives me a lot of hope. but I have to call out Hope in its tiniest form. And you all heard from them just a minute ago, but big things start small. And we want to recognize Hope of the Valley as our official 27th District Nonprofit of the Year, not because there's anything superior that they are doing above any other organization, but really because trying to get shelters built and trying to get tiny homes built in the San Fernando Valley and in Los Angeles in particular, but throughout Ventura County and our whole region is very hard work. And it's very easy to say no. And we say no quite a bit. Nobody quite wants to solve the problem in their backyard. But what Hope of the Valley's done, and it's brave work, but through the trust they've built with communities and through brave council members out there who say, we're going to take a chance and try to get 50 units in Reseda or 150 units in Tarzana, let alone, the great Alex Trebek looking down on us from above and saying, this organization is worth more than any Jeopardy prize out there. You all have just dug in deep and solved a completely seemingly intractable problem with homelessness. And so I hope for everyone else out there struggling, whether you're dealing with domestic violence or a family justice or trauma, or you have people who are food insecure, these villages that we're building, I think they should inspire us all. So Ken, I hate to put you on the spot, and you're seeing, look at it's pouring in off the chat, but what you're doing out there is nothing short of sacred and gigantic work, even though I know it happens in the very tiniest homes. So I want to recognize you, and with that recognition, not just send you a certificate for everyone recognized tonight. Hope that certificate seals our commitment to you all and to get your back and to help be brave with you. It's easy to turn away sometimes and live our own lives. So Ken, thanks for forcing us out of our shells and trying to find our better angels of our nature out in the valley and beyond.
And again, I just want to say thank you, Senator Stern, for all the work that you're doing, because it takes a public-private partnership. And as you mentioned, these 64 square foot units, it's only because of new technology and innovative thinking that we're able to move these so quickly. Typically, building affordable housing takes multiple years, but the sites that have been built across the San Fernando Valley, they're 90 days from beginning to end. The units themselves go up in 1 hour. And then now somebody is dignified with a bed, air conditioning, heating, windows, and a locking front door. And so there's, we know that if there was a natural calamity and then people were homeless, because of an earthquake or some other, disaster, that the National Guard would be here overnight, the Red Cross would be here, and we'd make sure that no Angelino had to suffer and languish on the streets. And so now we do have the ability to quickly move people, to rapidly deploy a solution to get people off the streets while we continue to work on the long-term solution. So it takes all of us together. And so we're very humbled. We're very thankful. There's a lot of work to be done. And so we got to roll up our sleeves. Let's all go back to work.
That's it. That's it. On that note, I'll let you all get back to work. And just thank you. I love the chat rolling in. I love this diverse family of angels here amongst us. And like I said a minute ago, we'll give you the official recognition from the state of California here.
We have certificates that we'll be mailing to each and every one of you.
Yes. And Jeremy's licking each stamp and he's going to wear himself out on it. But what I want to say is, lean on me and us to help your organization, whether it's deploying your mission, whether it's seeking public funding, whether it's working on your private fundraising efforts. We're going to try to elevate you in our press after this and really push out this message. But I mean that with all sincerity. We'll be there for you because you're there for us. So we love you dearly. And go get back to work, like Ken said. We got a Southern California to solve. So we'll get it done together, but hope you take a little bit of inspiration from all this tonight. All right, guys, be good to each other. Take care. Of course, thank you, Amber, Haven Hills. Thank you, Lillian. Right on, Judy. Okay, take care, you guys.